Hello and welcome back. As my last video dealing with quadratic equations, I'm going to look at a challenge problem and show you that no matter how intimidating it looks or difficult, that using our algebra skills, we can manipulate equations to look in the form that we want, in a form that's familiar to us, in which it will then be super easy to solve. So let's jump right in to this challenge problem. The challenge problem we are going to work on is x minus 1 over x minus 2 plus x over x minus 3 is equal to 1 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now we're going to use several algebra techniques to solve, and the first one is that in order to add these, we need them to have a common denominator. And to do that, we're going to multiply by a form of 1 to get our common denominator. So x minus 1 over x minus 2. We're going to multiply by minus 3 over x minus 3. Remember, anything over itself is just 1, so we're multiplying by 1, and while it's going to look a lot different because we have all these x's, it really is going to be the exact same thing. Well, we're going to do the same to this one. And we need this to have x minus 2 in the denominator, so we can add it. So we're going to multiply it by x minus 2 for x minus 2, and this will still equal, the right-hand side will be the same. So we need to FOIL this out, so we're going to do x squared minus 3x minus x plus 3. And over here we're going to distribute. So we're going to get plus x squared minus 2x. And now it's all going to be over x minus 2, x minus 3. Well, if we look at negative 3x minus x, it's going to give us negative 4x. And then we see we have two x squared terms. Well, that'll give us 2x squared. Then we have a negative 4x. Then we have a negative 4x. And a negative 2x, so that will give us minus 6x. And then lastly, we can keep the plus 3. We're also going to FOIL out this bottom half, which will give us x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. And remembering that this is equal to 1 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. We're just keeping the right-hand side of our equation the same. Now what we're going to do is we see here that this is actually equal to x squared minus 5x plus 6. So we have the same denominators on each side, so we can multiply each side by x squared minus 5x plus 6. So we're going to do that on each side, because remember, if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other to maintain the equality. Now on this side, they'll cancel out, and we'll get 2x squared minus 6x plus 3. And on this side, they'll also cancel out, but let's remember that anything over itself is equal to 1. So we'll get 1 on this side. We want it to look like our quadratic equation that we're used to in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we're going to subtract 1 from each side, which will give us 2x squared minus 6x, and 3 minus 1 is going to give us plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we can factor a 2 out, and we get x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now by the zero product property, we have 2 equals 0, or x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. Clearly 2 doesn't equal 0, so we know that this means x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. You could also divide each side by 2, and 0 divided by 2 is still 0. So either way, we get to this point. Now at this point, we could use a ton of different methods. It's not easily factored, so that's not one of the methods. We're going to take that out. But we could use the quadratic equation, or we could use complete the square to continue from here. So let's look at completing the square. So if we do x squared minus 3x, and we're going to move the 1 back over, is equal to -1. Completing the squares, we're going to take -3, our b, divided by 2, and square it. And that's going to give us 9/4. Now this is fractions, so it's not the prettiest, but we're going to get x minus 3/2 squared equal to -1 plus 9/4. So -1 plus 9/4 is the same as -4/4 plus 9/4, which is going to give us 5/4. Taking the square root of each side and remembering we must use plus or minus, we get x minus 3/2 is equal to plus or minus square root of 5, and then the square root of 4 is 2, so we have over 2. So here, this will give us our two responses. We're going to add 3/2 to both sides, and we're going to get x equals 3/2 plus root 5 over 2, and x equals 3/2 minus root 5 over 2. So that's one way that we can solve. Let's look at another method. Add x squared minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. Let's use the quadratic equation. Our a is 1, our b is -3, and our c is 1. So we have -3 plus or minus the square root of -3 squared, which is 9, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1, all over 2a, which is 1. Now -3 is going to give us 3 plus or minus the square root. 4 times 1 times 1 is just 4, 9 minus 4 is 5, and it's all over 2. And so again, we can see we get our two previous results, which is 3 plus root 5 over 2, and 3 minus root 5 over 2. So as you can see, even when a problem looks super challenging, we can use our algebra techniques to manipulate it, to put it in the form that we want, and then we're opened up to a variety of methods in which to solve the quadratic equation. We can use completing the square, we can use the quadratic formula, and if able, we can factor it as well. So don't be intimidated by difficult problems. Just try to think back to all of those skills and figure out how you can manipulate it, how you can rework it to make that equation do what you want it to do. Thank you so much for watching. This completes my section on quadratic equations and the formulas and solving quadratic equations. I'm going to continue on to new topics, so please make sure to check out those.